when you were starting out in USA basketball, who mentored you? And now that you're a veteran in USA basketball, who are you mentoring?
Um, I would have to say who mentored me when I came to USA basketball. Definitely Diana and Sue, um, the likes of Swing Cash. Around the time when I started in 2010, that was my first World Championship team, and then the 2012 Olympic team. I was definitely just taken under their wing and just really following what they were doing, and it was easier for me because I had Coach Oriema as a head coach. So a lot of the plays I knew, his expectations I knew, and he's very transparent. So that was definitely helpful as far as for me to know what my role was going to be on those teams that he was coaching that I was fortunate to be on. To answer the second part of your question, as far as who am I mentoring, I'm just someone where, if I see something, I say something. So regardless of who it is, it could now at this point in my career, it could be Sue, it could be Diana, it could be Aja Wilson, Ariel Atkins, Diamond DeShields, whatever it is. I'm just someone who just loves to help and serve. So whatever's needed of me.
Thank you.
Caroline, you're muted. Go ahead with Jen Hatfield.
Hi, Tina. Jen Hadfield with The Next. I'm the beat reporter for the Mystics, so kind of wanted to build off of Pepper's question, but from a Mystics take, what is your outlook on the Mystics this season? And we've seen the occasional workout video or photo on your social media. What have you been working on since WNBA fans last saw you play?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing with the Washington Mystics. It's been very neat to be here and just playing alongside and competing against Ariel Atkins. A couple of times in my mind, I'm like, oh, wow, she's good. And then I have to remember that I'll be playing alongside of her this season. So as far as, just preparing for the Mystics and just what I've been doing, just my overall game, I'm someone who's very quiet. I'm not going to say much. It's just things that I know I have expectations for myself, and I know what Coach T needs of me. So just trying to stay ready for the season.
If I can follow up on that real quick, a lot of folks have talked about your relationship with Coach T, and maybe that being a factor in you signing, but wanted to ask about your relationship with Asia Jones and what you're looking forward to, as your relationship with her shifts from former teammates to a player-coach relationship.
Yeah, one of the most things I loved about Asia Jones, coming in my rookie year, she was a vet. Her and Carol Lawson definitely took me under their wing when I was playing for the Connecticut Sun when I got drafted, and she's very transparent. She speaks when necessary. So anytime Asia speaks, it's something that's needed. And I always tell Asia to be hard on me. She knows that what I want to be a great player. I want to be a champion. So whatever is needed of me, to just definitely relay that. And Asia and I have a great rapport. She's like a big sister. So I'm looking forward to being alongside of her as well.
Thank you.
And Alex Ozzie with NBC Olympics.
Hey, Tina. Curious just how the body feels right now. What have the last couple of months been like for you?
I'm sorry. You sound very far away. So I'm straining to hear. Sorry.
Is that any better?
Yes, way better. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Curious what the last couple of months have been like for you in terms of training, what your body feels like, where you just feel right now your game is.
Yeah, I feel great. When everything started happening as far as COVID is concerned in 2020, like March, especially for New Yorkers who live in New York, I was able to get to Florida. I was able to work out. My trainer in Florida has had a gym. And then June 1st up till now, I've been with my trainer, Tim Burns, and he has access to a court, and I've just been working out. So I've just been doing individual workouts this entire time off season for me. So coming in now, it's not anything. It's just like second nature. It's like, again, riding a bike. I haven't been able to go 5-on-5, just taking the proper precautions due to COVID, but like again, like riding a bike, once you start, you get it, it clicks. Playing 5-on-5, same thing. So everything just comes back.
Your decision to opt out of the WNBA season, I'm curious what it was like to kind of be away after, having been so involved for, what was it like to kind of watch from afar?
It was great, and not everybody gets that opportunity to just be a fan, to know that your team is about to play, but you don't have the demands of what you have to do mentally and the physical toll. So for me, it was great to just be with my family and watching games, just being a true fan and just taking in what the WNBA players were able to do, partnering with the Say Her Name campaign and the African American Policy Forum. So it was really beautiful to see. And I was very engaged with the players on the Mystics and other players that I knew throughout the league and just checking in on their mental state and being in the bubble. So it was really good for me to just be on the outside looking in. Thankfully, it wasn't due to injury. And just being engaged as any other WNBA fan.
I keep muting myself. Next up, we've got Scott Mamoser.
Hello. Hi, Tina.
Hi.
Can you talk a little bit about the depth up front going into the training camp of the national team and the competition for the roster spots at those positions?
Yeah, I mean, the depth is always what it is on the national team. I don't think it's ever fell off for the time being that I've been here. Going up against the best of the best, Nneka Cage, Wilson, Stephanie Dolson, and Brittany Griner, Stewie, Elena, Sil, the front line has always been there. So the same thing as the back court. So I think it's overall fun to just be competing against the best of the best and just to see where you're at. And it's also humbling at the same time, knowing someone across from you knows your game and what you can do. But at the end of the day, we just all are very competitive. There's a goal that we're trying to achieve, whoever's selected on the team. So it's great. It's fun.
Thank you.
And Zach Draves.
Thank you so much. Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Oh, awesome. So I just wanted to ask you, given you mentioned the circumstances surrounding COVID, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to going into the WNBA season, and then also with USA basketball?
I'm just looking forward to getting out and competing for a championship. God willing, I can compete for my third gold medal, whichever way it goes. But I'm just looking forward to just being back on the elite stage. I don't take my position in the WNBA or the position I've had with USA basketball for granted. I know anyone would love to be where I am. And just being here, I'm just going to take advantage of the time. I have more years behind me than ahead of me when it comes to my basketball career. So I'm just taking advantage of every day that I get to play, that God blesses me with. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And then just wanted to follow up and ask you, because you had mentioned the work of the WNBA with the Say Her Name campaign and with the African American Policy Forum. Going forward into this season, as well as into the Olympics, what can we expect from the players in terms of speaking out on matters of social justice?
I think exactly what you just said. I don't think there's ever been a holdback from any individual player who's ever had anything to speak on something that's been passionate for them. And when it comes to the need of social justice, when it comes to speaking up on women who've fallen at the side of police brutality, I don't think that's something that's going to stop. I don't think it's going to be a need for something else, quote unquote, to happen. That's just who we are in the WNBA. We use our voices when needed. We have a platform. We take advantage of that for those who don't. So I can only say that it's going to be the same consistency. It's going to be the same energy, regardless.
Kaylee Connors, and then
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tina, and good luck to you.
No problem. Thank you.
Kaylee
Hi,
Connors.
Tina. Thank you for your time. I was just wondering, with all the talk that's come out about the disparities between the men's and women's NCAA tournament, what your experience was like in college at the tournament, and now how you feel about the players speaking out and the conversation that started to happen.
So, that's something that I thought about. A lot of the the women's tournament, they're out here earlier. And I was trying to think like, we didn't have access to a weight room per se. I mean, obviously the hotel we stayed in had a weight room, but we came, when we were fortunate to be in the Final Four, we came maybe a day or two before, and we were more so going along with the schedule that the NCAA gave us. Like, so if we were practicing, but we've never lifted. We've never had to be privy to what they were privy to. What the food was looking like, not having access to a weight room. Those things weren't, it wasn't, that's not what we were doing back then, or we didn't need to at that point, because we would handle everything from the semifinal game leading up to the Final Four, and then we were just focused on playing. So again, it's already very commendable what these women have to endure during this time when they're focused on like the biggest time in their life. And then when you don't have access to something that you need to be great, it definitely can take a toll on you. It definitely can weigh on you. So for the women that continue to play and use their voice, I'm very proud of them. I'm very happy that they exposed the NCAA and what they were doing, because along the way, that's all that us WNBA players are trying to do. We're just trying to make an influence on the next generation. And I think that's panning out really well. So, most of the times when you do the work, you're not the one that sees the results most of the time. So that's why we have to keep having these conversations, so the ones before us and coming up can see the results. And fortunate for them, they were able to see the results right then and there, with forcing the NCAA, forcing their hand to make up for what they did, and just continue to have these conversations of what the expectations are for us women, regardless of what we do, who we are, and how we work the same as the men.
Hey, Tina, it's Christina Williams with Girls Talk Sports TV. I just wanted to follow up that question with 3 days ago, Draymond Green went on a Twitter rant about the pay gap in men's and women's basketball. He also talked about how in women's basketball, specifically the WNBA, how stories are not being told about the athletes. I know that you're an athlete who has also like your own production company and 31 Enterprises. Can you just talk about that in regards to what Draymond said on Twitter, and like how are you, doing the work with your company and telling these stories?
Yes, it's exactly that. I actually missed, I'm not very social media heavy, so I actually missed what Draymond actually said live, but it's exactly that. There's a layer of resiliency that's shown about us while we're on the court, but that's not shown off the court as far as who we are, what we do, business ventures, what we're going into. So when it comes to viewership for the WNBA and the lack there is, we play from May to September, and then we go overseas and you don't hear about us again. But if we're able to tell these stories, obviously the WNBA, they have their faces of the league, but to me, every individual that makes it to a WNBA team or even a training camp, they're a hometown hero to those communities and to young girls and young boys that aspire to be where they are or what their path was. And it's very important to tell those stories just to continue to inspire and continue to have individuals engaged with us and with our sport and just what we're doing.
Thank you.
And we'll go back to Alex Ozzie.
Wanted to see if you'd be willing to go down a trip down memory lane. I think this is the third time San Antonio's hosted the Final Four, 2002, 2010. UConn won both of those times. Curious if back when you were in high school, you watched that 2002 game, and B, just if you have any memories of being in San Antonio and winning the national title here.
So the first question in 2002, I can't really remember if I watched the game. I mean, 2002, I was finishing my 8th grade year and going into my freshman year into high school. So, I mean, I was engaged with UConn and Sue, Swin, and Dee, and those guys in Asia. But I can't literally say if I watched the game. And for your second question, of course, when I think of San Antonio, I think about my senior year. I think about us winning. I think about us being down at halftime and just what all those practices leading up to that game. And, Coach Oriema would always put us in positions where the practices were always harder than the games, where we would be down against the practice players and have to come out on the other side of it. And I definitely think his practices gave us confidence to be able to overcome that hump when we were down at halftime versus Stanford and, winning the game. So I have a lot of memories here, a lot of great times on the Riverwalk afterwards, and you know, hopefully the players on the team this year can have that same feeling that I had here, and then pull it off.
Thanks much.
And the final question for Tina before we let her go comes Jen Hatfield with the next.
Hey, Tina, just wanted to ask you real quick about the Mystics signing Shavante Zelis. So I know you played with, you know, what was your reaction to that, and what do you think that she will bring to the Mystics?
You know, well first, you know, my thoughts and prayers are with Alicia Clark. You know, for her, I was definitely looking forward to playing alongside of her. We entered in 2010 at the same time, and to endure a foot injury and to be, you know, marked as being out for the season. You know, you never want to see any player go through anything such of an injury, but especially someone you know. And, you know, the fact that we're able to fill the void with Shavante Zelis. Z is a really good player, a pro, a vet, really heavy on defense, willing to do anything, great communicator, and has expectations for herself. You know, Z was not in the league last year, so I'm happy to see that she's back where she belongs and she gets another opportunity to just prove herself where she rightfully belongs. So I'm looking forward to playing alongside of Z.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, Tina. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You are excused.